There is a powerful call from REM students to be heard, to have their voices not only acknowledged, but amplified. In this documentary, I aim to provide just that platform, to explore these challenges, share their stories, and spark meaningful change. So this is not just a varsity campaign. This is #TellYourStory.
My name is Yesha Bodin, and this is my story. So I grew up in the Philippines up until I was 12, and then moved to the Cayman Islands before I had to go to uni. So I didn't really feel as though I was minority growing up, because I grew up in a country where everyone kind of looked like me. And even in Cayman, there's not really a minority, I would say, because most people are people of color. The people that I was surrounded with, all of my friends were as well. I would say it's like the reverse, like it was the white people that was the minority, and the people of color actually kind of made up the majority of the community, so it wasn't really apparent for me. It's more diverse in Kent, and because it's a bigger country. So I don't know if you know where Cayman is. It's a small island in the Caribbean. So it's definitely very different from where I grew up in. To be fair, I adapt quite well to things anyway. And I remember going to my first taster session. The person who was running it was Bryce Mendoza. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's also from the Philippines. And the fact that he was the one running the sessions, it made me feel kind of at home. And so it was always like, this is family, I'm comfortable, let's go to the taster sessions. I can't wait to go play with them kind of situation. I would think so, yeah, because all of my family back home played, so that kind of impacted what sports I picked in uni. And I would also say that culture in itself is celebrated in volleyball. I remember my first year we had a potluck, and it was all the girlies bringing food from their country, and we went to one of our teammates' house and we had a good time. And any social that involves food is like always a good time, so yeah. I think for me it means everything, because I can't picture myself not having it and not having my girls. I just can't imagine going through my last year of uni by myself. It's very, I don't know, sad, I guess. So having that community behind me is very important. I mean, for me, intersectionality, the number one thing that comes out of my mind right now is being a woman, and a woman in sport, and I guess also coming from the Philippines, because although it is celebrated in the society itself, we don't make up the majority of the players. And I feel as though if they see me playing and Bryce playing and Ish playing, they will then actually, I guess other people will also join the sport, because if they see themselves being represented, then it's like, I resonate with that sport because I see people like me playing the sport. So then I guess it creates an encouraging community and diversification of that sport as well. I guess there are some biases with different types of sports that are available in uni. So for example, if I see a fencing society doing their thing, it's more of like, probably not, because those kind of sport isn't really, or wasn't available for me growing up. So I didn't think, just because I don't really have the foundations for it or the basics for it. So then when I came to uni, I was like, I already have the basics and foundations for volleyball, so I could more than likely make the team and actually compete for it. But if I started off from scratch and I'm doing equestrian and riding a horse and not knowing how to ride a horse, it's like, it doesn't make any sense for me to do that, because those opportunities weren't presented to me growing up. So yes, I do have people in a higher position that I see playing with volleyball. For example, I've mentioned Bryce already. He was president my first year, I'm pretty sure, or captain of the men's first team. And seeing Bryce there and knowing that there is someone like me in the committee and also playing at such a high level, it made me feel inspired, because if he's done it, I can do it as well. Yes, so now I'm vice captain of the women's first team, and seeing Bryce in the committee, I guess also made me feel like, yes, I can maybe do something with the girls as well. It made me feel great, very inspirational. Yes, it's definitely very important for REM students to get involved, because I feel as though, for example, if I'm doing this campaign and somebody else watches it, they're like, yes, I can actually also play the sport and know that there is a community behind it, because it is important to show that the taster sessions are available, yes, but it's not the same when you go to the socials and you're in the group chat and you're seeing all the GIFs that's being sent through. So it's important to see what the culture is like and then join the sport and see what the community is like as well. So maybe if they see this, it'll also inspire them to join the community. The advice that I would give a REM student that's maybe just starting out uni or is already in their second or third year and are still thinking about joining a sport would be to try it out. And I know that's such a obvious thing to do, but once you get into the groove of things, doing something for the first time might be very intimidating. But once you get through that first barrier of being like, I don't know, maybe I don't know if I can afford it, it's a whole thing. Try it out if you like the people. I know it's very intimidating, but we're all really nice. And if there is something that you don't feel comfortable about, know that there's always a person willing to hear you out. For example, I know you now. I know that I can go to Tony and tell her, by the way, this is going on and I'm not really comfortable with it. You can speak to your coach, you can speak to your teammates if there's any issues regarding finances or just belonging, that sense of belonging that you want to feel. So I say go try it out, because this is where I found most of my friends, and uni wouldn't be the same without my friends, so go to that taster session. Allyship is extremely important. I think I've already touched on this before, but when someone feels shameful, and although it is a very big feeling and maybe they have that thought of someone not believing them or someone not understanding what they're going through, if you have that one person, even if it's just one person, it's very important, because you gain this confidence of opening up and making sure that maybe it doesn't happen to somebody else or that your voice is being heard. So allyship is extremely important. I mean, I would say if they're afraid to speak up because they've encountered some type of discrimination, I think the first point of contact would be the closest teammate you have or your coach, although that's kind of a one level up, but speak to your teammate about it and see if you can figure something out, and through that maybe gain momentum with whatever it is you're trying to speak about. And there are campaigns on campus that do speak up about discrimination, for example, your campaign. So I would say speak to someone, go to Tony, she's at the Mandela building, send her a quick Teams message and they'll sort it out for you. Just movement in general, I would say, is very good for my mental health, because once I sweat, once I'm in that zone, I guess, I don't really think of anything else but the ball in front of me. And I think other athletes could also resonate, because it's a high intensity environment, and if there's a good crowd, then you're also having to hear from them as well. So making sure that you're in the zone, actually moving, you're sweating, you go outside and you feel that breeze and you're like, it's such a good day out. So it's very important, yeah. If I didn't do volleyball, my university life would be completely different. I don't know what I would do with my Tuesdays, my Fridays, and my Sundays. I'd probably just be at home watching something and doing readings for law, which is very depressing in itself. So making sure that there's a separation between you're doing academic work and sports is very important, because it, stimulates you mentally and physically. So in order for the REM students to change their experiences, I would suggest for the uni to make it more financially available because, for example, if you're in second year or third year, you don't have the gym membership and the court membership, so having to pay for the society membership and the gym membership and the court space membership, that's already 3 expenses on top of each other, and also having to pay for the kit, that's like, oh my gosh, am I really gonna do all this just to play every Wednesday and to train every Tuesday, whatever it is your training times are? So making sure that they're supported financially would dramatically increase their participation in sports. So,
thank you so much for watching this mini documentary, but this is not the end of the conversation. The conversation is just beginning. Keep your eyes peeled for the next #TellYourStory.